I'm talking about the Word of God, and the subject right now is children and the bubble. The way children are treated today is completely absurd. If you know anything about how a public school works, you'll know then that the system is so totally broken that there's no remedy at all. The goal is just to survive. The subject right now is both children and schools. Many adults seem to have it in their head that children exist in this magic bubble of innocence that lasts until they're the legal age to drink. How long will people say that children are innocent? 10 years old, 12, 15, 18, 21, 25? People think that they started innocent and that the world somehow corrupted them. The truth is that they began as sinners, and it's the duty of parental figures to correct them. I'm not just saying that, it's the Word of God. Proverbs 22:15. Folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will drive it far from him. There are many schools where teachers are asked to discipline their kids, and the reason they cannot do so is partially parents' fault, partially society's fault, but no one is ever willing to accept that the lion's share of the blame is with the child. Number one, the child is never disciplined at home, and if they are, it's not for the right reasons. Number two, there is no effective discipline at school because the child doesn't care about grades or order or anything. Our society's schools are in the death throes of believing that if we were reasonable enough and good enough at our jobs, children would listen and grow up to be well-to-do adults. But in fact, we're seeing that children don't grow up in a bubble of purity. They start out with foolishness in their hearts. And if we were shrewd, we'd simply make it acceptable for children not to attend school if they don't get anything out of it. That way, the children who are still there wouldn't have to put up with so much chaos. What we're witnessing in this country is a failure of a philosophy. Our philosophy was that if we presented reason in an easy-to-grasp sort of way, people would choose reason. They would choose understanding and knowledge. We have been making a plea to the natural state of a man's heart, and we haven't been able to accept that a man's heart is wicked. Why? We would have known if we had just listened to God. We would have known if we had understood you cannot put down any foundation except God's foundation. We would have known if we had not run off in pursuit of anything besides God for an answer. I'm not talking about prayer in schools. I'm talking about how God has become a footnote in our schools, as if he were always beside the point. Anyone who knows anything about God knows he is never obsolete. Masses of children are raised with no regard for God at all, and no amount of reason will turn them into this ideal of a godless saint. That is all. Take care, and God bless.